One DM changed my entire life, and if I hadn't opened it, my whole life would look different. Hi, I'm Christen Dominique, and welcome to the very first episode of Beyond the Makeup. If you follow beauty content, you probably know me from my makeup videos, but if you're new here, hi, I cannot wait to share my journey with you. I'll be sharing stories of my journey, and I'll also be bringing people in who I've met along the way. This podcast is me coming home. If you've ever felt behind, not enough, or you're becoming someone new and it's scary, you're in the right place. This is a real life podcast, and starting in the next episode, you'll be able to call in, leave me voicemails, questions, stories, whatever you're going through to 213-221-7573, and I'll respond right here on the podcast because we're going beyond the makeup. But first, let me take you back because this DM quite literally changed my life. Okay, today I'm sharing the story I never fully told, the DM that led me to moving to LA, going viral, and then building my brand. So we're gonna start from the beginning. Texas. I'm a Texan girly. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. Just to give you some background, growing up in Texas, I was very reserved. I had strict parents. I wasn't allowed to wear makeup. I was just overall pretty shy and reserved. But somehow I became the locker room makeup artist. If you're not seeing what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to blend out my foundation. If you want to actually watch this on video, go to YouTube and you'll see what I am blending because right now it's looking a little crazy. It's because my body's tan, but my face is exfoliated, so it's always a little bit paler. We are blended in. This is such a good foundation. My first power of makeup moment before the trend even existed was taking my mom's yellow Maybelline corrector, putting it under my eyes, because at that time in my life, my under eyes were the main character, not me. And I was ready to be the main character in my life. So I grabbed my mom's yellow corrector, did not know how to really put it on very well, but I somehow, you know the Makeup by Mario old school triangle under the eye? I did that. That wasn't even born yet. This was probably oh my God, I'm dating myself. This was probably 1999, I would say. Watching me so off. I grabbed that concealer, I put it under my eyes, went to school, and I literally felt like a whole brand new person. I looked like I got some sleep. I felt like I got some sleep. I just felt confident in my own skin. I was a little bit more outspoken that day. Like I was like, I'm gonna raise my hand in class today. I'm gonna talk to this person that I normally wouldn't talk to. Things started to open up for me that day. That's when I felt the power of makeup, the transformative power internally and obviously externally. But because my makeup journey started from a moment like that, insecurity, wanting to hide something and become something, I always wanted to make sure that I have motivational, self-empowering affirmations in everything that I do. From when I started YouTube to my makeup brand, I feel like how you talk to yourself has the greatest impact on your mental health and the love that you have for yourself. But getting back to the story, I got in trouble that day because obviously I had concealer on. But after I talked to my parents, let them know what I've been going through with my under eye circles, not feeling like I fit in, I was really not very confident in myself. I let them know that this concealer, this yellow corrector that I overused, helped me in ways that I never knew I needed. So they allowed me to wear concealer in a concealer shade after that. I didn't know that it was more of a corrector than a concealer. So I then learned from my mom that it was a corrector. She gave me a actual concealer, and from there I started to wear makeup, and then I started to become the locker room makeup artist. If I was in the locker room, I had a line to do people's makeup. It was crazy as a middle schooler. So this started for me in like 7th grade. And then from there, I became the locker room makeup artist. I was in dance. And whenever you're in competitive dance, you wear a lot of makeup. I became everyone's makeup artist. And then life all of a sudden got real for me very fast to where makeup wasn't my main focus anymore. Jaden was my focus. Jaden is my son, and I had him around 1920. I basically turned 20 the next month that I had him. So he was born in January. My birthday is in February. So during my young adult years, I was a mom going to school full-time, working full-time at an insurance company, which is so different from what my passion was. I was in member services. It's the number that you call on the back of your insurance card when you want to get your information, but this was for Medicare members, so 50 plus. So I was doing that full time, going to school full time, and still doing makeup on the side because that was my one true love. Let me just tell you, my calendar looked like a cry for help. I needed to focus more of my time on being a mom and doing well in school. So I let go of doing makeup, but I got really encouraged by my friends and my coworkers to continue doing YouTube. So I did YouTube once every 6 months, once a year, like it was random. I really just went on there to learn, to comment, and maybe to share a little bit, but it never was really something that I thought I'd be doing. Like right now, I was encouraged to continue doing that so that I can share how to do these looks, share my tips and tricks on YouTube. So I was like, okay, let me start making more videos. I started doing makeup tutorials more often. I got really creative with it. I eventually would go outside of like a Forever 21 or any store and with the full look, walk inside, walk back out, do little shopping things, and then start the tutorial. I was really inspired by Michelle Phan's trailer-like videos. And so at the time, that's what I wanted to create, something that gave more of a story to my makeup tutorials. And those started to do really well for me. It wasn't going viral, but it was doing really well for where I was at. And that actually caught the attention of Ipsy. I will touch on this as literally that's the DM that I got. And I was getting noticed by some of my favorite YouTubers at the time. Andrea's Choice liked one of my videos, and at the time it would share whatever you liked to all your subscribers. Basically, she made me go viral. I think it was a Pocahontas recreation. It might have been for Halloween, I don't know. But anyways, that started to continue. I started to get more views and higher views and more notoriety from people that I followed and who I was inspired by. So it was really cool. But then I got a DM from Facebook from a man saying that he was with Ipsy. So immediately I was like, no, this cannot be real. It basically said that they're looking for Ipsy stylists to move out to LA and create glam bag videos for them at their studio, as well as film my own videos at their studio and grow together for 3 years or so. And that was kind of like what it was overall. That sounded amazing because I used the Ipsy glam bags. I was a fan of Michelle Phan, and I know that it was from Michelle. So I was like, maybe this is Michelle Phan. Maybe she's noticing me. So then I told my husband, I was like, it sounds so fake. I wasn't buying it. He was like, we should probably get this guy on a call and see what he has to say before we just ignore it. So we get on the call with the guy from Ipsy. And if you're listening to this right now, hi. I would love to have you on my show because that was actually insane. We got on the call, it was legit, and it was enough to move us out. We had just bought a house. I'm 25, we got married the year before, and I'm like, this is insane. Like, are we really gonna do this? My husband's a risk taker, he thinks big, he doesn't like to stay safe. And for me, I'm like, I need security, I need to know what's gonna happen. We decided after some discussion that we should just take the risk, rent the house out, and see where this goes for a little bit. And if it works out, it works out. But if, we tried it, but if it doesn't, then that's okay. At least we could say we tried it. And honestly, sometimes your breakthrough shows up as something you're scared of. So we decided to take the risk and move to LA. And this is when the chaos started. So after 19 hours of driving in a U-Haul with my 5-year-old, my husband, and my grandmother, we end up in the cul-de-sac of a Brentwood neighborhood. Finally, we get into the house, we're all moved in. My husband actually has to go back to Houston. That's why my grandmother came with me. She was there with me to transition into this world while Caesar was still working back in Houston, trying to get transferred to an AT&T, which he was managing at the time back in Houston, and just trying to get transferred over to LA. And so she was with me for a few months. And let me tell you, it was a culture shock. I felt very out of place. I felt like a Texan. I arrived like a Texan. I mean, I wasn't wearing a hat. Houston is a city, so it's not like we were country. It just was a different type of energy, a different type of style, the way we spoke, everything was just different. And I just didn't feel like I fit in. The first year being at Ipsy was so hard. I was crying like every week. I wanted to go back home. I didn't fit in with the girls that were there. I mean, it was just a lot. I felt the weight of the world on my shoulders because I felt like I had the opportunity to change my family's life and I just wasn't growing as quick as I thought I would. It was like going to a full-time job. You were there from like 9 to 5, I think it was. We had to sit at a desk, like an office job, film in the studio with all of their studio lighting. We had a camera guy who was filming us. I'd never filmed in this setting before or with someone filming me. I was so nervous. I hadn't grown into myself fully. I became a woman when I came out here. I was 26 years old and he had this random man filming us and it was just a lot. And then we had to turn in our videos for Ipsy, right? We would have these meetings. Let me just pretend you're me for a second. We have 3 other stylists, amazing artists, doing really well on YouTube. And at the time we were all growing, but they were growing really fast because they were amazing artists. They really had a different type of skill that I hadn't grown into yet. But I admired this type of makeup and this type of artistry, very detailed. And we would get into this room every week and with all the Ipsy employees and the girls at the time, they would present our videos for the week and all of our numbers in mind were the lowest numbers, the lowest engagement. Makeup was just not there yet. I thought I was amazing. Everybody in my community thought I was good, but then I came here and I'm like, wait a minute, I need to learn. That was humiliating. I also didn't really mesh well, I think, and really was just trying to figure myself out still. I'm 39 now, but at 26, you are still trying to figure yourself out, even at 30. So it was a tough time because of all of this, because of the weight of having to carry my family and support my family. Not that I didn't have Caesar's support. He also had a job himself, but I felt like I could take us to the next level and I wasn't doing that. So I would cry a lot. I would feel like I needed to go back home. I would spend hours editing these videos and really focusing on trying to get better. At the same time, I'm crying my eyes out because I'm not getting there yet, but I'm not the type of person that just will stop everything. I am someone who will put in my all in everything until I can't anymore. So I would stay up till 3 in the morning, editing and trying to figure out how to edit better. And I was growing with each video, but just not as quick as everyone else, which kind of made me feel like I was falling behind. We would go to events and they would have fans and I didn't. So I just felt like, do I need to go home? Like, what am I doing? But I'm working really hard to get where I need to be because I really believe in myself. There's just something in me. I just feel like I have the opportunity to get myself to the next level and I'm not gonna quit. But then Caesar finally got a position here in California. He saw like the struggle that I was going through with everything and started to look into my videos with me. I'm really inspired by my husband. He's a business person, but he is creative at the same time, which is very helpful. So basically Caesar starts to research with me and suggest doing the Power of Makeup video that Nikki Tutorials started. I believe she started it. So I do my story in my half and half makeup, half no makeup, in telling my story. And that basically is my first real viral video. We get this excitement from it. We're like, oh my God, maybe we need to work closer together. Maybe we need to do research together because this did really well. That video, sharing a story like that, not just a theme, not just quick cuts to cool music, but myself, my story, and just being very vulnerable in that moment. I gained so many followers. I started to grow and see so many more views. And I finally felt seen in my space within the industry. When I saw the love and support with just showing up authentically as myself, that actually boosted my confidence. That's when I started to go up really fast. So I didn't become confident overnight. I just became consistent. And that moment changed everything. So Ipsy had this thing with their subscribers where every time we uploaded a new video, they received like an automatic invite to subscribe and follow our Instagram and YouTube. I gained some following from that. I think I was at 45K when I started with Ipsy. I got with them, I think I got to 100K with their help. And I noticed that I started to get comments on my Instagram like, how did I follow this channel? I just subscribed to Ipsy and now I'm following this girl. So it was horrible. So when I got to 100K, I was like, please take me off that freaking list. I don't want that. I don't want to have anything to do with that because it's making me look like I'm buying my followers or something. So we took it off. And then I was at 100K, and with the consistency of everything that I did and what I've learned about opening up and just being just real and honest and sharing my life with makeup, because makeup wasn't the only thing I think people followed me for. It was the connection that I had with them. I was at 100K. I eventually got to 1 million followers. With joining forces with my husband, researching everything together, we eventually started just to pop off on every single video. At the time, we were getting invited to so many brand trips. We'd have a brand trip every week. It was insane. We went to Korea. That's when I started to really go viral after my Korean versus American makeup. I made that a whole series. My husband was telling me you should do like a half and half because that seems to do really well for you. So we started doing country versus country, and that went insane. It blew up. I did every country I could think of. I would research how they did their makeup versus American makeup, and it just blew up. I eventually got to, I think, about 4 million subscribers, and this nose contour is intense right now. If you guys could see what's happening on my face. Long story short, from there, I was able to create a brand, invest in myself, and that was started in 2018. We are 8 years old now. We're still here. I'm actually filming in my new office, the Dominique office. There's like this other little room in this office, which is pretty big. And I created this podcast because I love beauty, but I miss the depth. We're gonna be talking about real life behind the glam, identity, starting over, a life of a CEO. You're gonna see a lot of behind the scenes for that. If you've ever wanted to start a brand yourself and want to know the ins and outs and everything we've dealt with, stay here because I'm going to share all the ins and outs. And this isn't just my podcast, my story. This is our story. I'm going to have a voicemail for you guys. This episode is a highly condensed version of how I got here and where I'm at, but I'll be going in depth in future episodes. So stay tuned. I'm sharing things that I've never talked about before. I'm excited to share the rest of my journey and story with you guys. What you see on TikTok and Instagram for a lot of people isn't realistic. Some people are really good at showing up authentically as themselves online. I know a lot of people that are authentically themselves through and through and show that online. And they are the most successful people. And I feel that's what it is. I think it's you showing up authentically as yourself online consistently. And that's what gives you this connection that is really hard to break. I'll go into more detail as we continue the episodes, but this is just a little sneak peek of what is to come. And by the way, I just enhanced my moles. If you weren't watching, you should be watching. And this isn't a perfect highlight reel podcast. This is real life, and that's why I'm here. Okay, going back to the makeup, the brand. After all the success of my channel, I had this brand that wanted to collab with me. It was gonna be my first big branded collab. And I had so many ideas, thoughts, opinions. I knew what I wanted, and it came really easy for me. And in that meeting, Caesar looks at me and goes, "You know exactly what you want? Build something that's yours." And that's when Dominique was born. Multi-purpose palettes, Korean, Italian formulas, innovative designs, so many things started to happen and formulate for me. And then we went through our rebranding not too long after that. When you start something, you want to just get in there and start, but then you're in it and you realize it's something totally different, and that's okay. It's very normal. And I wanted this brand to truly be my heart and soul. And that's what you see right now. I'll get into that in future episodes of how I started the brand and where we went and all the things that happened with the brand. This brand is literally my heart in product form. Lots to get into on that, but that's for another time. Now we're gonna move on from 2018. I started my brand. Then in 2019, I had some tragedies. I lost my grandma in 2019, and as you guys know, and I've shared, she was a huge part of my life. She was in a lot of my videos and was one of the most supportive people. She left her life in Houston just so that I can get acclimated and hopefully succeed at this risk I had just taken. 2019 was a heavy year for me. Then the pandemic hit and everything changed. I was booked to go on so many trips. It was kind of the same situation as 2016, 2017. 2019, I was going on a trip with NARS. I had all these things planned, and then the pandemic was like, boom, everything stopped. Long story short, I moved from Brentwood to Westwood to Orange County. Now I'm in the Valley. I recently bought a house a couple years ago, and I have never been happier. And from 2019 on, nothing but short form was happening. Quick, to the point videos. I evolved into that. And that is the majority of the content that you probably see right now from me. And you will continue to see it because I enjoy it so much. I love sharing my tips and tricks with you guys. It is literally how I started in makeup. And somewhere within all the short form and everything changing, I miss talking, I miss depth, and I miss connecting with you guys the way I used to in my long form. And that's the short, condensed version of my story, how I got here, why I'm here, and where I'm going next. If you have ever felt not enough, afraid to start over, or just unsure where you fit, this podcast is for you.